guys and gals? Today we have a very eventful, adventurous video from this hotel room. No, I'm serious. We are going to be talking about tips and advice on how to get off the beaten path with my good friend, Alex.
Hello everyone, my name's Alex Chacon. I have a wonderful YouTube channel that's all about traveling off the beaten path on motorcycles, 4x4s, droning around, doing epic selfies.
So clearly Alex is an expert in this field. Well, Alex and myself are going to give you some tips and advice.
Well, hopefully good tips and advice.
They'll be great tips and advice.
Okay.
Getting off the beaten path, I feel, is a very kind of overused term, but also underused term when it comes to types of travel that you do, because there are a lot of very popular tourist destinations that are getting even more so popular every year, I find. That is one of the reasons why you look to get off the beaten path. You want to kind of just stray away from the tourist destinations, you want to stray away from all the popular things, and maybe look at stuff that hasn't been covered as well.
Right, absolutely. You know, the best things to actually see is when you get lost. So
that's true.
Although there's so many people, you don't ever want to go to the main tourist destinations. Just throw that map away, start walking around.
Very much so. So Alex, why do you want to get off the beaten path?
Well, you know, getting off the beaten path is just a great way to connect with the people in a very local and a very profound way. My best times, my best experiences have been when I've thrown the map out the door, I lose my phone, or any point where you say, you know, who are you? And the other person says, who are you? And they say, we haven't seen a tourist here in 6 generations.
Whoa. I mean, just losing your phone, that's a pretty big achievement. So when you're planning your trips to get off the beaten path, what do you think classifies, or what do you think, what would you specifically decide is considered something that's out there a bit more?
Well, first let me dissect that part of the sentence where you say, when you plan your off the beaten path trips, I think the first clue that everybody should have is don't plan. Plan as least as possible and you'll be amazed at what can happen.
If you were, though, to plan an off the beaten path trip, how would you go about doing it? Like, how do you go about finding out where these adventures are? Because you don't know, right? A lot of times you don't know where you're gonna go. So if you're in a destination, if you're visiting a country or city, you're like, I wanna go see something no one's done before, or maybe it's not as seen or done before. How do you actually find that? How do you do that?
Right. So I think that's the hardest part of your off the beaten path trip, is being able to find that thing that nobody's ever seen before, because we all know everybody's been around the world. You know, there's so many people everywhere. So what I like to do is either I rent a car, I find a motorbike, I find a sharing service of some sort for rides, or I've even rented a car with a group of people in some places, and we just kind of wander off and get lost. So I think the first part of planning is have a plan A, which is going to be, all right, I have my map in case something happens. Plan B, which is I'm going to show up and figure it out. And then plan C, what does the person next to me think that they haven't seen before, and how can we just make it, you know, wander aimlessly? And you'd be surprised what you can find. There's other resources though that you can find as well. There's websites that, you know, you can always ask people on your Facebook or your social media is, what is there? And what I like to do is I like to do a general search on Google, and it just says weird places around the world or unique places around the world. And those are the least visited places by tourists. So once you have that, believe it or not, the best times of my life have been just getting there. Not the weird destination, but just the trip there has been through burnt forests, has been through just random radioactive areas, just sort of really weird things.
Just random radioactive areas? It's cool. Transportation is one of the biggest things. It's like you have to kind of, with these more out there destinations, things that aren't as well visited, transportation is probably going to be one of your biggest issues getting there, because that's the beauty of the more popular destinations. There are set routes, there are direct buses, there are lots and lots of information on how to get there, timetables, schedules, but you want to go someplace that's not so well visited, you kind of need to sort out your transportation almost for yourself. Like you were saying, motorcycles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cars
and now here's the thing, that's the destination, right?
Yeah.
But like if you want like an off the beaten path adventure, taking the local chicken bus in Guatemala or Central America will give you an amazing experience that's so off the beaten path.
I've not taken any chicken buses, but I've heard of these chicken buses.
Yeah, so you know, it's not only the destination, but it's the experience getting there. So you never know what we can find on the road, and local transport, even public transport.
This is true. So let's cover two things. Well, no, what are the benefits of getting off the beaten path? I mean, one, it just sounds really cool. But two, what are some of like the downfalls and like or like the issues that you kind of run into?
Right. So, you know, the issues, I think, is how people get overwhelmed on even starting off the beaten path adventures. Is you think it's very overwhelming, it's gonna cost me a lot, or I don't know what I'm doing, and that's half the fun. The benefits obviously are the experiences of, you know, getting to somewhere that nobody's been before and you realize, wow, I'm alone and I can experience this for myself. Or you meet a beautiful family that takes you in and they just want to help you out, and you get to experience a local festival or a birthday party or even a wedding that you get invited to. And that's just the risk you have to take, because those of us who risk a little bit can gain a lot from it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of true with like most travel. You do have to kind of take many risks and calculated risks whenever you are planning your adventures. And like I said, calculated risks, meaning that, I mean, I personally don't like throwing myself into very dangerous situations, but I do enjoy adventure and I do enjoy like discovering and trying to explore and find something new. If you're a solo traveler, which you've done, you do many solo trips. Pretty much all your stuff.
Unfortunately, it's very solo what I do. If anybody wants to come with me though, let me know. I would love to have company.
So like, yeah, so you do a lot of solo stuff. Do you find it difficult, like especially if you don't speak the language, like trying to get to these places? Or like...
It's a challenge. It's certainly a challenge, but you know, you're gonna have a challenge in anything you do. So, you know, I find the trips where you don't speak the local language, it's more interesting. You know, you're not only giving yourself a very fun adventure, but you're giving yourself an education, which, you know, who knew you could educate yourself while you travel? But if you want to learn a language, put yourself in somewhere that you don't speak it, and believe me, your survival skills will take you through. And if you don't, you got this beautiful little device called a phone, which translates everything for you.
And make sure you have a working phone.
And working phone, and don't lose it either.
Tips for getting out the beaten path.
Don't
have
lose
a
it.
working phone.
There you go. Don't forget it, yeah.
So if you've never really done much, I keep using this term off the beaten path, but hey, adventurous travel as well. I think this is applicable to just kind of more out there adventurous travel. If you've never really done any of that types of travel, how would you go about doing it? What are some examples of ways that you can add those, maybe just even smaller trips into your overall trip?
Yeah,
So just
of course.
Tips and advice.
So I think one of the first things you should do is have a plan, which is going to be your stable plan, but lose a map. You know, walk around, get lost, meet some people, speak the wrong language, say the wrong things, make it funny, make them smile. So I think just kind of walking around getting lost is one of them.
Secretly have a map in your back pocket though.
Yes,
so
just
you
in
don't
case.
actually lose
Exactly.
your
So
map.
have this fail-safe plan so that you feel confident enough to go out there and do it.
Yes, because I've definitely lost maps before, and that's
Not good.
Not that good.
Not that
No,
good.
not that
No.
good.
Have
No.
to test the wind and, you know, get the sun and the direction. Sleep in the home of a local, and you can do that via couch surfing. Even Airbnb is another example you can do this on. Or a lot of stories I hear is people who talk to people on the airplane and on the train or the bus, and they take them in that very evening. So another idea is talk to somebody. You never know how friendly they'll be. The other tip is woofing. You know, if you like to go farm and you like organic stuff, or you like just to go work out in the fields, you can exchange
food. I like
you can exchange your time for homestay, and you work a few hours a day and you get a free place to stay, and you meet other travelers at the same time. So then you can plan out different routes from there, or you can just work at the farm for a year if you'd like. So another example is just renting a car, which can be very affordable. Here in Germany is actually like 10, 15 US dollars a day, which sometimes is the cost of the transport. Another thing you can do is rent a motorcycle, and that to me is the funnest thing to do because it's so incredibly cheap. In India, I was riding for $5 a day, US, and in Nepal, $4 a day on a very small motorbike. And there you can just follow the locals, and if you just follow somebody long enough, you'll be amazed at the cool, indigenous, and authentic places that they'll visit, and all you just gotta say is hello. And every motorbike in the world is a friend of a motorbike. So the moment you rent one,
but you should probably learn how to ride a motorbike before renting a motorbike in a foreign country.
But you know what? Little scooters are fine. I think they're okay. If you can ride a bicycle, you can ride a small scooter.
I have not tested that theory, but you know, that's his advice. That's gonna be Alex's advice.
Now, if you're going for something really adventurous and crazy, there's websites where you can actually hitch rides on airplanes, private airplanes. So that's a great way to make a friend and even a place to stay. So it's almost like called hitchhiking on an airplane. Yes.
Yes, please. Do you have any resources that you got to give people?
Absolutely. Okay. So if you want to have a free motorcycle, have any information, if you want to take any vehicle around the world, across borders, paperwork, have people to help you, translators, what do you call them, handlers, whatever it is. There's a great website called horizonsunlimited.com. There's another one called ADV Rider. That's people who actually sell you motorcycles, sell you overland vehicles, people who help you with documentation, people who actually lend you vehicles for free just because you're just traveling there. Another resource.
So you're like transporting the vehicle for them, pretty much.
No, I mean there's websites like that where you can basically, like in New Zealand, you can go to a car rental company, and if you drive from south to north, you take the car back to the rental agency, and they give you 5 days free rental. So all I gotta play is insurance, which is like $6 a day. So
pretty sick. Okay, great resources. I'm gonna leave the links down below, and thank you so much, Alex, for joining me. Go check out his channel, it's really awesome. So we did some video tips on how to run your travel channel over on his channel. I'll leave the links down below and at the end of this video in the end card. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got inspired to venture out off the beaten path yourself and have a little bit more adventures, even if they're just small ones, and working your way up to bigger ones.
don't be scared. Have some courage.
It'll be fine. You'll be fine. All right.